Hi, Mom. It's Rick Boyer from Character Concepts and the Uncle Rick Audio Book Club. Hey, have you and your kids heard the fascinating story of Nancy Hart, the heroic pioneer mama of the Revolutionary War? Well, I hadn't until just a few years ago, and I found it just awesome. In fact, my wife and her friend Grace Toomas wrote the story up in this book, which I have now recorded for your kids. Portraits of Integrity tells the story of Nancy Hart and 44 other worthy heroes from different periods of time, most of them Americans, a few not. Got to tell you about Nancy Hart, though. Aunt Nancy, as she was called, was quite a frontier woman. In fact, she had been engaged in a number of skirmishes with both Indians and with Tories. During the Revolutionary War, her husband served in the Georgia militia. Much of the time he was away from home, and Aunt Nancy had to protect her children and property herself. She was pretty capable of doing that, too. At 6'2", she was not only a very strong woman, but lacked only 2 inches of being the height of General Washington himself, something that very few of his own soldiers could claim. One day, 5 Tories came to her cabin. They were looking to grab her husband and kill him, but he was away from home that day. And so they demanded that Aunt Nancy fix them some lunch, and they would just wait a while. Well, they killed her last old Tom turkey and plucked it, and she began to cook. She also had one of the girls bring up some homemade brew from down in the cellar. As these Tories sat around the table, getting happier and happier on that homemade stuff, they leaned their 5 muskets against the log wall of the cabin. That was a mistake. In one of her trips back and forth from the fireplace to the table, Aunt Nancy suddenly stopped, grabbed one of the muskets, and pointed in the general direction of the 5 men at the table, and promised that she would shoot the first man who moved. I guess those guys didn't know her very well, because one of them tried his luck. Next thing you knew, he was lying on the floor with a bullet hole through him. Quick as a leaping deer, Aunt Nancy grabbed another musket from the wall, pointed at the remaining 4 enemies, and said, "All right, if anybody moves, I shoot you." Well, I don't know who she was talking to, but nobody decided to try it. She held them there under guard and sent one of her children to inform some of the patriot neighbors. Finally, after a several-hour wait, enough patriots showed up to take these prisoners in hand and march them away. Before they did so, one of them said, "Miss Nancy, we're going to take these fellers out and shoot them." She says, "No, they're spies. Shooting's too good for them. You take them out and hang them." And that's what they did. That is, if the story's really true. This and many other stories about Aunt Nancy were handed down through the family for generation after generation after generation. And many of those folks must have wondered, is it really true? Did it really happen with Aunt Nancy and the Tories that way? That is, they wondered until 1912. And over a century later, as a railroad was grading a new roadbed through that part of the country, a mass grave was uncovered about half a mile from the site of Nancy Hart's cabin. In the grave were found 5 bodies. One dead, perhaps of a bullet wound. The other 4 had their necks snapped, as if they had been hung. And now we know, as Paul Harvey used to say, the rest of the story. Nancy Hart will excite your kids and inspire them to be strong and take care of their own, along with 44 other great heroes that you and they will enjoy learning about and be inspired by. So why don't you join the Uncle Rick Audio Club now as a family? The cost is only $10 a month, if you can believe that, and you can download 2 great full-length kids' audiobooks of your choice every single month. You're not required to stay in for a year. There's no time limit. You can leave anytime you want to. But you won't want to once your kids fall in love with the Uncle Rick audiobooks on our site. I'll give you a little extra. If you join the Uncle Rick Audiobook Club, you will receive automatically a 20% discount on any purchase on our Character Concepts site. That's right, as a member of the club, you have the privilege of a year-round 20% off sale on all the Bible-based character curriculum at characterconcepts.com. So, don't wait. Start saving money today on Bible-based character curriculum and 2 great digital audio books every single month from Uncle Rick. I look forward to meeting your kids. I know I'm going to love them. Okay, UncleRickAudios.com. Write that down, UncleRickAudios.com. Why not join right now?